Hi everyone, my name is Katja. I'm CatColouring and a warm welcome to my channel for both new and old subscribers. Today's video is a review of the Derwent Chromaflow 150 color pencils, but it will not be like the usual reviews you find here on YouTube, because these Chromaflow pencils have been reviewed several times during the last 3 years, both when they originally came out here and also during last year summer and spring with the reviews of the 150 set. So this review will be with focus on how they perform very specifically in coloring books, because a lot of the reviews out there, well, they usually deal with how they perform on paper and how they blend on paper, you know, the paper that artists use, Strathmore this and Strathmore that. But I want to see how they perform and how their pigmentation is, and also how they layer and blend on specific paper in specific coloring books that I use. And my guess is that you also may be interested in seeing how they perform in specific coloring books, because when you are a subscriber here on my channel, well, then you are probably also interested in the same coloring books that I am, by Johanna Basford, Hanna Karlsson, Maria Trolle. And I actually think today we will have a fourth type of paper that is from Japanese coloring books to supplement the usual 3 types of paper that I normally test these on. So before we get started, well, grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or a mug of tea and let's get going with these Chromaflow 150 coloring pencils. So if we start by looking at the tin box, they are in a sturdy kind of tin box, just like the Derwent ink tins I have already reviewed. If you want to see that review of the Derwent ink tins, you can find it on my channel in the playlist reviews. It was actually my very first review, the Derwent ink tins. But the Derwent Chromaflows are in this also very sturdy tin box. It says 150 pencils, very useful information. We have this beautiful illustration of a parrot, I think it's an Ara, by Kinsey Lane. I think she has actually illustrated all of the tin boxes here for Derwent. And we have some of the pencils here in this picture. It says Derwent Chromaflow, vibrant, blendable color with a smooth laydown, professional quality. And then it says made in Britain, because Derwent is a British brand and they are manufactured in the UK. And then we have all of the colors down here, you know, with small little dots. So we don't get them out of this, except that it is a beautiful presentation of the pencils with the front of this tin box. So when we remove the lid, we can see it also says something about Derwent here on the inside. Derwent drawn to perfection. We can see it dates back to 1832 and in different languages explains something about the company Derwent and their craftsmanship and quality and the range of pencils and so on. So when we remove the lid, we can see the pencils, and they are here in 3 layers. And we can see here, they look like, you know, Derwent pencils. They have the same sort of design. So if I just remove the first one, you can take a look also at the second layer here. So the first layer consists, as we can see, of yellow, orange, red, and some pink and probably, yeah, also a bit purplish tones here, whereas the second layer are more violet tones. We have a lot of blue tones, teal, turquoise tones, and then we move over to the green colors. And in the last layer, we have more green colors. We have some more earth-like tones, brown colors, and different sorts of grayish or gray colors. And then we have some metallic colors over here. I actually have the metallic Derwent set, the 20 set, and there's also a review of that on my channel in the playlist reviews. So if you want to know more about the Derwent metallics, then you can watch it there. But here we do have 4 metallic pencils: gold, silver, and ice blue, and silver mint. So with 150 pencils, we have a wide range of colors. Derwent Chromaflow are described as a professional color pencil for artists, and they claim that the colors are vibrant. They are highly pigmented. I know from the ink tints that they are very vibrant and very, very pigmented, so I have no reason to doubt it, but we will of course see when I have swatched the colors. They also claim that this is a soft coloring pencils, and there has been a lot of rumors that this should be some sort of Derwent competition to Prismacolor, because which other well-known brand do we know with 150 pencils and they are very soft? Of course, the Prismacolors. They should have a smooth laydown and be very blendable, so Derwent says on their website. They also claim they have a creamy core. Again, this sounds a lot like the Prismacolors, and they actually say that the color builds rather quickly compared to the Coloursoft, which is another brand that Derwent also has on the market. So that the color builds rather quickly, and you can't layer these as much as you can, for example, the Coloursoft and the Prismacolors. They should be excellent to use on black paper, you know, with a black or dark background, because they should be so vibrant in the colors. And the light fastness has been determined to 68% across the 150 colors, which means that some of these pencils are more light fast than others. So some of them are very, very light fast, and some of them are not nearly that light fast. But you can go on the website on Derwent, and then you can, look up the Chromaflows, and in here, if you click on the, I think it's a little link called color charts. If you go in and click on the Chromaflow color chart, you can actually see the light fastness of every single color. So there's no reason for me to sit here and say, oh, this color is light fast number whatever, because you can see it yourself there. They are wax based, so unlike the light fast pencils, which I also bought on the art haul and which I will be reviewing in a couple of weeks, they are wax based. The others are oil based. The core is 3.5 millimeters. They also should be erasable, so when we have laid down the color, you can sort of erase it to create highlights. And they are, says Derwent, good to use with the Derwent metallic pencils, and also to combine with the Coloursoft pencils and pencil at all. You can now, and I don't know if this is news to you, but I checked their website, and when they came out, you were not able to buy anything else but 100 of the colors open stock. But that has changed, because you can now on their own website buy every single 150 colored pencils open stock. All of them are available now open stock. And I know that they weren't during the summer when a lot of the reviews of the pencils came out, but it is actually possible now. They cost £1.85 for each pencil. So they are, well, they are rather expensive coloring pencils like the Prismacolors. I don't know, I actually think that the Prismacolors might be just a little bit cheaper, depending on where you buy them. So that was a little bit about the facts about these pencils and what Derwent says themselves. If we take up a pencil, you can see that they are thinner. They are not as thick as the polychromos are, for example. They are a round pencil here. And if you think you hear a lot of strange sounds, it's because my dog Tiger keeps jumping up on my shoulder because he wants to be in the video. But I'm sorry, Tiger, there is no room for you in this video. He's actually quite becoming hysterical now because he wants to be in the video. Well, so back to the pencils, sorry. They have a black coating here and a golden writing here. It says made in England, of course. Derwent, the brand name, and Chromaflow. And then comes the color name. This is Morning Mist, and then the color number 2110. That was not hard to see. I don't know why I hesitated. So 2110, so the coloring pencil number here. And then we have this gold foiling, and then the color of the barrel here. You can see the color of the pencil. It actually rather looks like it matches the color here at the end of the barrel, I have to say. because that's a bit unusual. Oh, here it's a bit darker, so perhaps not with all of them. I have to admit that most coloring pencils I review, the core color does not match the paint here on the barrel. Lemon Lime, 1820 here. Yeah. But that doesn't matter because I am going to swatch them. I have to say that, as I said, they are a bit thinner to hold than the polychromas. This should actually make it easier for people with arthritis to hold them compared to the thicker pencils. I think that they are perhaps also a little bit thinner than my Prismacolors, but they are round pencils, and a lot of people like round pencils and not the hexagonal pencils. But anyway, I think that all of the Derwent pencils are actually round and not hexagonal. So many beautiful colors, and I am going to be sharpening them and swatching them, but I will not film it because, 150 pencils, oh my gosh, it will take so long and forever, and I am really rather more interested in how they perform in coloring books. So now I will turn off the camera and I will sharpen and swatch them, and then I will show you the colors, and then we will test them in coloring books, because that is what we are most interested in here on my channel. So see you in a bit. So here we have all of the Derwent Chromaflow colors swatched. And well, if we look at this first one here with the yellow, orange, red and pink colors, there are some couple of nice yellow colors, and then we have some more ochre-like colors. We have some nice orange colors also. But with the reds, I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed because, we have scarlet and pure red. And scarlet is some sort of, it's always a mix between red and orange. So it's not entirely red, and it's not orange. So it's more of a lighter sort of red, but not pink. And then we have pure red, and pure red is the only real red color we have here, because as soon as we turn to the cardinal red and strawberry, it's more of a brownish red here, or a very dark orangey red here, you can see. And then we have Pompeian red and Sangria, and they are more darker red. So I am actually disappointed with the color tones here in the red ones, where I only have one really reasonably red here, and that is pure red. That is actually quite a disappointment, because if you want to use red color, one is just not going to cut it, because then you just have these more orangey or brown alternatives, and then the dark red colors. If we look at the pink colors, we also don't have a lot of very light pinkish. We have a salmon. It is extremely light here compared to the salmon, which is way more pigmented in the Prismacolor set, for example. We have a blush pink, that's okay, and a hot pink, and then it's more of purplish sort of pinkish colors here. The ultra pink, that is not pink, that is actually just a purple color. Jazzberry also. Magenta is, the magenta we know in the series also. Orchid pink, or just orchid, I think it's called. It's more of a purple lilac sort of color here. Rose pink, a very, very light color, actually quite a beautiful light color. Pink heather is also more purplish lilac in it. And if we continue here, you can see that Hollywood pink is also purple. Then we have Wildberry and Mardi Gras, also purple colors. Deep Rose, more of a reddish purple dark color, like the Midnight Mauve, and actually there's not much of a color difference here. Dusky Purple, really, really dark. I like the Dusky Purple and the Dark Purple because they're really dark, and you can use them to create shadows, but they are also quite alike in the dark color. This actually reminds me of my Castle Art set, the 120 Soft Touch, where there are a lot of colors that are very similar to each other. Some of them are even, the same color apart from the name. We have an Oyster down here, which is so light that it's almost white. The light mauve is actually quite nice to have, but you can see then we move over to the more lilac and violet color tones here. So if we look at this and think, okay, pink colors, we don't really have that much pink colors. It's mostly purple, lilac, and violet colors here. And moving into the blue colors, we have a nice range of blue colors. Egyptian blue, Picardy blue, iris purple, glaucous blue, and periwinkle are more of the sort of blue-violet colors in different degrees, ending up with the violet blue. Then come some very dark blues like lagoon and peacock blue. I do think I miss a very, very dark indigo blue actually here, but never mind. We have a classic denim blue, and then we have some more brighter blues here. Lapis blue, blue orchid, glacier blue, and light blue. But if you can see here, a lot of the blue colors are actually dark or more violet or more grayish in the tones, like Carolina blue and Blue Yonder, more grayish blue colors. And then we move over to the teal colors with the deep sea as the darkest, and sea blue, and then all the way down to turquoise green. So, you know, the traditional blue colors with also a lot of light blue colors and bright colors we don't really find here in this Chromaflow set here. Moving on to the green colors, we have some nice green colors. I would say tropical rain, mint leaf, green meadow. Also, the pastel mint is actually quite nice to see. We have some more light colors down here, grass green, jungle green, and then we have a lot of yellow greens in different degrees. Key lime, beautiful, spring bud, very nice light green. Then we have lemon lime and citrus yellow, and citrus yellow is just a smidge more light in the color than lemon lime. They are also quite similar. We have pear with more green than yellow, and then we move on to the more olive-like colors, olive yellow, foliage, olivine, so more mossy colors. We have a field gray, which is gray-green, also actually quite nice. And the light olive, which is a weird name because the color is quite dark actually. And obsidian green, also beautiful. And then we have some more brownish green colors with leaf green, pickle, Lincoln green, laurel green. And then we move on to more brown colors with chai, Dijon, matcha, and oak. So a lot of brownish colors here. I'm not quite sure what I should use these colors for, but moving on here to some more red brownish colors, and we actually have quite a lot of those. Raisin is more of a, you know, it actually reminds me of the Tuscan red from the Prismacolor set. Redwood, more terracotta, and then we have burnt sienna and spice and willow. Carrot, which is really orange, brown here. So a normal brown, I think it's hard to find. You can say willow, but I think it's a little bit light compared to a normal brown. We have the bourbon, the nutshell and biscotti are more grayish brown actually. And also, we don't have a lot of dark brown colors. We have the coffee bean, which is a nice dark color. We have the natural brown, which is, in my opinion, a bit dark to be a natural brown. And then we have licorice, which if I hold it in the right light, it's not black. It's actually a very, very dark brown. But we only really have these few very dark brown colors and not really normal brown colors. I have to say that a lot of the browns are very light, more terracotta, or over in the burnt here with burnt sienna, like, you know, a burnt ochre and spice and so on. They're more reddish brown or ochre brown or red brown, orange brown, gray brown than brown. I actually miss a little more. I think I miss some more opportunities with the brown colors. Then we move over to the gray colors, and this is actually a nice surprise. We have some which are more in the sort of French gray color range. They actually remind me of the French gray colors we find the Prismacolor set, but they are called Basil Grey, Purple, and Morning Mist. Then we have some nice pinkish greyish colors with Red Storm and Almond Frost, and some sort of lilac, violet, grey colors with Rose Quartz and Lavender Ash. Yeah, actually really nice here. And you will also find colors similar to these in the Caran d'Ache Luminance. They also have some rose, pinkish grey colors and violet grey colors. Then we have some normal grey colors, cold grey colors, and some warm grey colors. And then we have the black down here, but you know, we can find both the neutral grey and charcoal grey, and they are almost the same color as the black. I even think that the neutral grey actually is a smidge darker on my paper here than the black. But, you know, you have some light grey colors or some darker grey colors, perhaps actually lagging a little bit in the middle of the grey colors, you know, normal grey. The only really normal grey, not dark, not light, I can find is Winter Lake. But I'm not a fan of, you know, grey colors. I'm not that fond of them, so it's actually okay. And then we have these 4 metal colors, and well, it makes me wonder why we have these metal colors in, because gold and silver, I can understand, a lot of sets have gold and silver, and then they have thrown in ice blue and silver mint. And they are nice colors, no doubt about it. I mean, they are really shiny, these Derwent metallics. And I should know so because I have the Derwent metallic set. I will just find my swatch chart here. So this is my swatch chart for the Derwent metallic pencils set, the 20 set edition. I made a review of it some time ago, and it's up on my channel in my playlist reviews. And there are split opinions about this, because some write, well, it's a waste of money. And I also have the metallic pencils from Castle Art, and I have the swatch chart with those here. You can see here the Castle Art metallic set. A lot of different colors, because there are 48 color pencils here. And they had just tried to sort of cover the entire color palette with yellow, orange, pink, purples, red, blue, greens, a lot of greens actually, gold colors, copper, and so on, and onto the silvery ones. Whereas Derwent has 20. And this 20 set, they are very pigmented, very nice to use, and work great on a black background. They have the ice blue and the silver mint here. So why take these two and put in this set? I don't understand why it has to be ice blue and silver mint, because there are a lot of other great colors they could have chosen. They could have chosen the rose gold. This is a really nice, very beautiful metallic color here, or the pink gold, also very beautiful. They could also have chosen the bronze and the copper instead of ice blue and silver mint. I know that Prismacolor, the vintage they set, had way more metallics than just, you know, I think it's the silver and gold and bronze we find today. They also had copper, and it's actually a very beautiful color here. But you could also have chosen a red one or an antique gold instead of just the gold. So I'm a bit confused why they have thrown 2 extra metallic colors in instead of, for example, 2 more red colors. I do think that the colors are very nice, but I have to say I'm a bit disappointed with the color choices when you issue a 150 set and go from, I think that their last big set was it a 72 or a 100? So when you add that much new colors, why don't you add more pink, really pink colors, and more red colors, and more perhaps light blue and colors here to this set, and perhaps more just green colors, or especially brown colors here, and then leave out these metallic colors, because most people don't use them anyway. Well, that was my opinion about the colors. Let us test them in coloring books now and see how they perform. Okay, so first book is of course Den Magiske Jungle, Magical Jungle by Johanna Basford. And since we are going to be working on the test page with the leaves here. I'm going to be using 3 green colors because the last times I have used blue colors. So let's be original here and use some green colors. So I think that we should use, and I know it's a bit annoying, but you know, this is a double page and I haven't spiral bound it or anything. So I actually think that the last time I used it was for these Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils. So I think that we should try one of the leaves up here. So I have decided to use the basil because it's the darkest color, jungle green as the middle color, and grass green as the lightest color. So let's be traditional and try the darkest color here at the innermost part of this leaf. And you know, I'm just coloring some leaves now because we are going to be layering these ones to see how many layers before it's filled up. So as I said in the beginning of the video, they say that it doesn't take a lot of layering with these Chromaflow pencils compared to the Coloursoft pencils and also the Prismacolors. So let's see if that's true. Well, they I don't know if they are as soft as Prismacolor, but they are certainly easy to lay down. And well, if you compare them to Prismacolor, I do think that they hold the tip better already compared to the Prismacolors because they get blunt very quickly. So we have to sharpen them all the time. So that was just one layer. So we will just continue here with the jungle green. And again, very, very easy to lay down. It's actually a bit difficult to stop because they are so they're very nice to hold, these ones. And let's take the lightest color here, the grass green. And this is just a light pressure. I don't press hard at all. So if this was a Prismacolor, I would already have to sharpen it a bit so the tip doesn't get too blunt. But you can see here, very nice and sharp. And at about that, they were actually extremely easy to sharpen. Very easy. I just used my Dali 133. It was so easy. So you can see here one layer. And you can clearly still see the white of the paper. It doesn't really cover, but it gives a nice color. I'm not satisfied yet because I want it to be a bit more bright, but it actually gives a nice coverage here. So if we say that this one, because we have more here, is one layer, then we will begin with 2 layers here. So 1 layer of this one, also the next, of course. I don't know how many layers we're going to be making. So let's just do it. And the second layer of the jungle green. And you can already see now that it really brightens up. And then the lightest color. So you can see here, one layer, two layers, and you can clearly see a lot of difference now from 1 to 2 layers. And you can also see that the second layer really covers a lot more. You can also compare it to this side because it's only one layer here too. So let's try this one and see what a third layer will do. So, and again, I don't press hard. I'm just adding a third layer here. And, well, it does make a difference. We can see the colors getting brighter, but the coverage is only slightly better here than the second layer, because the second layer actually covered quite a lot. So let's try to give this one a third and fourth layer and see where we are at. 1, 2, 3, 4. So first a third layer here. And a fourth layer here. One layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers. And you can see that some of the biggest difference we have from 1 to 2 layers, because the color really gets through here. And also the fourth layer from the second to the third layer, well, a bit deeper in the color. And the fourth layer, well, I can't get any more color down here. And you can also see that it blends into each other, these colors. So, if I have to be quite honest, I don't think that you need the fourth layer. You can easily just have 3 layers here. And not the fourth one. Especially if you add a little more pressure in the third layer, then I don't think you can get any more color down here. And you can see, compared to the other side here with only 1 layer, that it really does add a lot more color with 2 layers or 3 layers compared to 1. So 3 layers, and blends actually quite nicely this one. So that was this paper. Let's try in another book. Next book up, Twilight Garden by Maria Trolle. Paper here is a bit more coarse than the one we found in Magical Jungle, and also thicker. So instead of just doing green colors, because there are so many wonderful colors here, I think we should do this daffodil and use yellow colors. So we have the lemon here from Chromaflow, the sun yellow, and the sunflower, and then of course amber gold. So I will just begin with amber gold. in here. And let's take the sunflower and lay it down here as the, well, sort of darkest color here. And let's try here the sun yellow. So this was just one layer. Let me bring it up here so you can see. It actually gives quite a nice coverage, and I dare say, I think it actually covers a little bit better the first time than in on the smooth paper in Magical Jungle. I do think we can see that it covers a bit more. You can still see some of the white of the paper, but it actually covers quite well. I don't think we will have many layers in this book, so let me just try here lightly with yet another layer. And here it's of course on a bigger area than in Magical Jungle with this one color. Well, by the naked eye, really good coverage here. So let's say that this is one layer, so let's give this a second layer and also this one, and see if a third layer and a second layer, how much difference it makes. So second layer here, and of course also down here. And we also do it here with a second layer. Okay, so you can actually see quite a difference now. With the first layer, it's really nice actually, and it does give a good coverage, but with the second layer, you can really see how the colors sort of pop. It also feels a bit different to lay down on this paper. In the Johanna Basford book, it was a bit waxy at the end when you have added the third layer. So that way they remind me of the Black Widow pencils, which on some paper also give this sort of waxy surface. But here, not an inch of a waxy surface. It's really, really nice, this one. Let me just try to give this one a third layer, but I actually don't think that it's necessary. The third layer here and here. And you can see we do have a little difference between the second and the third layer. If not only that the color really pops when you give it a third layer, you can also see the blend is much more smooth than in the Johanna Basford book in Magical Jungle. They blended nicely, but you could still see here, you can hardly see, hardly. I can't here with the third layer see any transitions between the darker and the a little bit lighter color here, the sunflower and the sun yellow. So in this book, I think it's optional if you want to give it a third layer. I think the 2 layers might actually be enough, but that is also usually the case, because in Johanna Basford book, we usually have to layer quite a lot compared to this coarser paper here. So it really seems to be true that you don't have to layer the Chromaflow pencils a lot. Like with other coloring pencils, they just seem to fill up the paper quite quickly, actually. Let me just do this one here. Yeah, you can see how smooth the transitions are here. If I use the lemon, so look at it. Beautiful bright colors and very smooth transitions here between the colors. So on this paper they are really, really blendable. And 2 layers are really more than enough. So let's try them in a Hannah Carlson book. So Hannah Carlson Seasons, and the test page here, which is actually quite filled with a lot of pink colors, and well, this will be no different because I have decided to use some of these purple pink colors that we find so many of here in the Chromaflow set. So we have Jazzberry and Ultra Pink and Orchid. So let's try to color this flower up here, and let's try to test their blendability here. So I will just start off with some of the Jazzberry, funny name for a color. And then take the Ultra Pink and finally Orchid. And they blend actually quite nicely into each other, these 3 colors, as you can see here. A really nice blend here. This paper a little bit coarser and a little bit thicker than the one in Maria Trolle's book, but otherwise also, you know, with some tooth, but it doesn't stop these Chromaflows from really blending. So let's try to see how many layers. So I will just take the Jazzberry and color some of these in here. And you can see with one layer we can still see some of the white of the paper when it's colored with the light pressure. So let's try to see and see. This is 1 layer, this is 2 layers, this is 3 layers, this is 4 layers. And I didn't have to do 4 layers because you can see here 1 layer, 2 layers, it's actually covered, and 3 and 4 is overkill. So where the 3rd layer is optional in Maria Trolle's books and the 4th in Johanna Basford, I would have to say that, well, it is maximum 2 layers here. In this book, I would actually have to say, I'm just coloring this one 2 layers. It's actually more than enough. And if you add just a little more pressure than the light pressure, then you can cover it with just 1 layer. The paper really takes these Chromaflow pencils very nicely, I would have to say. So that was an easy test. I did have a feeling that it would be like so many of the other wax-based pencils I have tested in these books. But let us try to test them on some of the paper in a Japanese coloring book, like many of us have, because that paper is quite different. So many of us have Japanese coloring books, and the paper in a lot of these coloring books, well, it's actually recommended for oil-based pencils. I used Prismacolors recently in one of them, and well, it didn't go that well, but I do think that it perhaps is possible to use wax-based pencils on the paper in these books, because the paper is nice and thick, and it's not that smooth, so it should be doable. So I have here Flower Weather, Flower News by Aikawasora. I have a translated flip-through of this coloring book up on my channel under the playlist Translated Flip-throughs if you want to see the entire book and know what it's all about. So let me just take this one, and this is sort of an introductory page. So we have many different flowers here. So I think that I want to use some blue colors now and color some of the flowers here. So I have chosen Iris Blue as the darkest color, Glaucus Blue as the, well, I think it's the lightest color, and then a Periwinkle, sort of a middle color. I hope that they match. I just grabbed some. So let's see here how they perform. So I will just take the Iris Blue here, and I have to say they lay down very smoothly on this paper also. In fact, perhaps a little bit better than the Prismacolors. Let me just take another one here. So first I just want to get a feel of the pencils, how they lay down. This paper is really, really nice, I have to say. And then let us try the Periwinkle for this flower. And also for this flower. Well, they're not difficult to color with. Let us just try this Glaucus Blue here. And there you have it. These are way easier to lay down than the Prismacolors on this paper, I just have to say. Much, much easier than the Prismacolors. And you can see, especially the Irish Blue and Glaucus Blue, they blend very nicely. I think the Periwinkle is perhaps a little bit too blue for the sort of purple color here, but never mind that. Let us try to see how many layers we can give this one. So I will just take another flower down here and color it lightly with one layer at the petals. So I will just take these 4 petals because I don't think that I will need any more than 4 layers. And as you can see, you can still see the white of the paper here, but the color has laid down nicely. So let's try to add a second layer. So let's say this is the first, or just one layer, a second layer. Well, and there you have it, almost completely covered. Let us just try this one next to it and give it 2 more layers, so it has 3 layers. The second layer and the third layer. And if I have to be quite honest, hope you can see it, you don't have to have a third layer, and it is actually, I don't know if you can see it, we get a little sort of waxy build here with the third layer. So with these Chromaflow pencils, you don't have to, or you mustn't layer them with an extra layer just to be sure, because then you get this sort of waxy surface here. So better 1 layer too little than 1 layer too much. So 2 layers in this book on this paper also, and easier, way easier to lay down than the Prismacolors. You can just color the rest of this one. They lay down so smoothly. So if you do have Japanese coloring books, I would have to say, well, they do recommend oil-based pencils, but if you choose to use other pencils than Prismacolors like these Chromaflows, I think you can just use your Chromaflows on this paper without any trouble at all. So that was the testing here. So to conclude on these coloring pencils, Derwent Chromaflow 150 set. So if we look at the colors, they are pigmented and very nice. There is a nice selection of purple, if you like purple colors, violet, blue and green colors, but they do lack, as I said earlier, they do lack some more really red colors, some more pink colors, some more brown colors, and also light blue colors, in my opinion. They sharpen easily, and they hold the sharp tip actually quite nicely and way better than the Prismacolors. So you don't have to sharpen them as often as the Prismacolors. I think that's a nice touch. They are easy to color with. They perform well in the coloring books on the different sorts of paper. I was especially surprised with how they performed in Magical Jungle, because that paper is really smooth, and I just have to say that most of the wax-based pencils I have tested in Magical Jungle, they don't really perform that well like they do in other coloring books and other more coarser paper. Most of the wax-based pencils, they are not easy to lay down on the smooth paper, so I do prefer my Polychromos pencils and my Prismacolors in Johanna Basford books, I have to say. But in books with more coarser paper, like Maja Hanna Carlsen and Maria Trolle, with thicker and coarser paper, they perform really, really well, and you don't have to layer them very much. Then you have a very nice laydown of the color. A big surprise was also how they performed in the Japanese coloring book by Akawa Sora, because that paper is actually meant for oil-based pencils, in her books at least. So they performed really well and way better than the Prismacolors I had used on a page in one of her other books. Can't remember. I have it actually right here. So this double page spread here, I used my Prismacolors, and I had to use my Derwent blender to sort of, get them mixed well on the paper. So I really am happy that these Chromaflow performed so well on the paper in that book. I know that they also perform well in Erie books, and I know this because I am a member of a group on Facebook where we post colorings of our Erie books, and a couple of the colorists there are so good, and they use Derwent Chromaflow. And I mean, the drawings that they have colored with Derwent Chromaflow are absolutely amazing. So I know they perform well in some books on some paper here. I have to say that I do think that if you layer too much, you get this waxy bloom. I also experienced this with my Black Widow pencils, but I have to layer them more than these, so you have to be very careful not to layer too much with these, or you will get that waxy blooming surface here. So don't layer them too much. So the issue really with Derwent Chromaflow, except for the waxy surface if you layer too much and the lack of some colors at least, is the price. So if you look at Derwent's own webpage, they cost the 150 set £277.49. If you had to pay dollars, that would be $344.70. That is a huge amount of money for coloring pencils. Luckily, I was actually able to find these on Amazon US for almost $145. They are a teeny bit more expensive on the German Amazon where I bought them, but I bought them on Black Friday where there was a sale and they were put down, I think it was 40% discount. The Prismacolor set 150 cost right now at the moment on Amazon.com almost $140. Actually, it's $139. So the Prismacolors are actually cheaper to buy than these Chromaflow pencils. And here comes my recommendation. If you want to try the Derwent Chromaflow, then if you really want to try them, I would recommend that you buy the smallest set, the 12 set. It's actually quite expensive. It costs £22, which is a little over $27 for 12 pencils. You could also buy them open stock on Derwent's own webpage. Here you can get all of the 150 colors, so you can just choose whichever you want. They cost £1.85 per pencil, also a bit expensive. So if you really want to buy them, buy a small set, try them out, and perhaps supplement with a couple of blue or green colors if you want that, or yellow or orange if you want that, open stock. So that was my conclusion on these Derwent Chromaflows. So that was the end of this review. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And remember, I have a whole playlist called Reviews where you can find all my reviews. Go and check them out. If you're interested in the color swatch chart, then you can get it in my Kofi-shop. So what are your opinion about these Chromaflow pencils? Have you invested in them? Why? Why not? Write it down in the comments. I'm curious to know. If you're interested in more coloring videos and not just reviews, then you can consider becoming a channel member and join my coloring community. If you join for less than $3 a month, you will have exclusive access to all my beginner tutorials, color alongs, and of course all of my how to color series, where I will show you in more specific detail how to color different things or how to color with different materials. So until I see you in the next video, have a lovely day. Take care of yourself. Happy coloring. Bye.